Call to order. Call to order. We're getting ready to start our meeting, the Community Development Committee. In the chamber is Andrews, Councilman Andrews, Councilwoman Cook, myself, Councilwoman McKeever, and Chair Councilman Johnson is on his way. First, we're going to start off with presentation of items. It's 2024-177, introducing Nina Wilson, Community Developer Director.
Good afternoon. Mr. Chair, members of the Community Development Committee. We have before you the 2024 Urgent Repair Program Policies and Procedures. URP 24, Urgent Repair, URP, that's the acronym. This is the 10th year that we will receive urgent repair funds from the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. Our award for 2024 is $132,000, and the city, we will use general funds to match those funds in the amount of $10,000. So we'll have $142,000 for the 2024 program year to provide urgent repairs to qualified homeowners. The urgent repair program primarily targets those households that are considered very low or extremely low. So we're looking at households that are at 50% and below AMI. And typically what we try to do is an even number of those households. If we're looking at doing 10 units, then we will try to do 5 at 30% and maybe 5 at 50%. So we do try to make sure that we are dispersing these funds, I guess you would say appropriately and equally among low-income households. Under the assistance policy, this is a policy that we actually will give to each of the applicants that are approved for the program. And it explains to them just how the program works, what's eligible, the income guidelines, the types of repairs that can be done, as well as the maximum for the program is $12,000 for the household. And that is actually a lifetime maximum. That's the current maximum for the program. And then it is a deferred loan. As long as they continue to live in the household, that loan is forgiven at $3,000 per year until the balance is zero. So ultimately, as long as they stay in the household, it becomes a grant to them. And then you also have the procurement and disbursement policy. And this is a policy that we give to our contractors. So anyone that is interested in bidding on any of these projects, we have them acknowledge that they receive a copy of these policies. And it basically outlines how we actually go about the bidding or receiving quotes, how they are supposed to submit invoices, when they'll be paid, those types of things. And so this is the outline that we actually provide to the contractors. And these two policies, we will have to include them with our post-approval documentation packet that will go back to North Carolina Housing Finance once you all have had an opportunity to review it and hopefully approve the policies. Are there any questions?
This is Councilman Johnson. So the deferred loan, that's a lien on the home, is that correct?
They sign a promissory note, but it is not recorded. We actually enter into a contract with them. They are required to sign a promissory note, but there's no true lien on the property.
Okay.
And that is the procedure that North Carolina Housing Finance has outlined for the program.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
This is Councilman Andrew. Councilman Andrew, have you had any problems with that before, with the lien versus a promissory note? Probably not. I'm just curious.
I suppose you could say it is a problem in that if the property owner moves or if there is foreclosure or anything like that, we have no mechanism for receiving notification. So a lot of times, I can think of maybe one or two occasions where that may have happened, that the property was sold and we weren't notified.
So it's unlikely,
And
but-
It's not, it does not, right, it's very uncommon that anything happens.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. We'll now move on to 2024-178.
Nina, I'm sorry. Sorry, does
I'm
that need to
sorry.
be approved, or is that just information only?
Oh, I'm sorry. It does need to be, they need to make a
does.
recommendation, I'm sorry, to
No, no,
approve it, for
you're
city
fine.
council to approve that. My apologies.
You're fine. And for the record, Councilman Tyrone Johnson, Chair, I am present. All right. So we do need to take a vote on that. What's that? Okay. So we will take a vote to accept.
Perhaps entertain a motion to recommend approval, if someone wants to make that motion.
All right. Someone wants to make the motion to recommend this to go to the full council.
I would like to recommend go to the whole council.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that it will move forward to full city council. Great. Thank you.
We need to now vote on it.
By all sides, yes, yeah. By all sides, the raising of your hand. Can y'all, or yes? Do we have any yeses?
Aye, yes.
Aye.
All right. Any opposes? Great. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought I was in church for a quick moment, okay? So, all right. It happens, okay. So now we'll move on to the next one. 2024-178, a consideration of a conditional commitment for flats at Old Winston.
The flats at Old Winston Road will be a 60-unit multifamily rental project located at 701 Old Winston Road to be developed by Winfield Forward LLC. It will include 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units that will be made available to families with household incomes at 80% and below AMI. 12 of the units will be targeted to households that are earning 50% and below AMI. And I will go back, I believe actually all of the households will be made available to households that are 60%, actually even lower than the 80%. So it'll be 60% and below AMI. And that is area median income, AMI. And 12 of those units, as I said, will be targeted for households earning 50% and below the area median income. The site will include a community building with a community room and computer center and a covered picnic area, as well as a playground. Staff's proposing to conditionally commit $1 million of our home ARP funds to the project that has a development budget of approximately $14 million. The developer will be applying for North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, to the Housing Finance Agency for an award of 9% low-income housing tax credits. As identified in High Point's Home ARP allocation plan, $1,539,524 has been allocated for affordable rental housing development. These funds will be used to primarily benefit qualifying individuals and families who are homeless, at risk of homelessness, fleeing domestic violence, or in other vulnerable populations, which could include veterans and households that are at that 50% and below AMI. There will not be any budget impact. These funds have been allocated, they are available, so there's no new funding for this particular conditional commitment. The Community Development Housing Department recommends authorization to provide a conditional commitment letter for flats at Old Winston on or before May 10th. They will need to include that conditional letter with their application to North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. And we are asking that the appropriate city official and/or employee be authorized to execute all of the necessary documents. And I do have here today Craig Stone with Winfield Properties. I'd like for him to come up just to speak to you all briefly.
Great.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you for allowing me to present to the committee. This is a competitive process similar to what you've seen in the past with a number of developments we've been involved with. We are directly competing this year with well over 100 applications. The final number of units, we're still in the process of trying to decide that related to competition. It could go as low as 48 units up to 60 units. Of where we're currently projected. And part of that reasoning is one of the things this year is the amount of funding, secondary funding, and how that lays into the competitive process in what is a tie break. So there's a little bit that's up in the air. We do have the application deadline that's this Friday that we're looking to submit, but a little bit of background about this particular development. It would amount to anywhere from a $12 million to $14 million investment in the community. My name is Craig Stone with Winfield Properties. We're a Jamestown company that is located here that specializes in affordable housing. For those that know, I've been up here quite a bit over the course of the years. We have done about 30 of these deals being tax credits over the last number of years. It's something that we work on quite a bit. We are the developer, we're the builder and the managing agent, so hopefully through the life cycle of the deal, there's somebody that you can call and pick the phone up and yell at if we're not doing something correctly, so to speak. Our product that we build is an all-brick product with Semestuous siding. We spend a lot of time on the architectural design for the blend of the area. You may have seen Kirkwood Crossing, Admiral Point, a number of developments in the area. We try to make sure that what we're creating is a home for the folks that we serve. The need is overwhelming. I don't think we have a single community of the 8 I think that we have that we worked on previously that doesn't have more than 1,000 units of need on a waiting list. So it's overwhelming. And frankly, during the pandemic and everything that's went on since then, it's gotten quite a bit worse. So at the end of the day, the need is not, we're not meeting it, but every little bit helps. I don't know if there's any questions or anything that I could do to maybe help answer at this point in time. I think.
No, I just wanted to say, I know Councilman McKeever and I were both on the recent tour with the Housing Summit and got to visit Admiral Point. Avondale, sorry.
I know a couple of them.
And I had visited that property before and did not realize it was part of our affordable housing. So I just want to thank you because this is really important to, I think, all of us to provide this to our community. And so.
The best thing in the world, I remember when we opened up Addington, and unfortunately we had to turn 700 market rate folks away. And it was one of the best things in the world because it really is a home we're trying to build to serve the folks that we serve. And it's our mission and drive to do so. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No. Well, Mr. Stone, definitely, we're very familiar with the work, our city, and we thank you. You do great work, so we definitely appreciate you.
One thing I would also publicly like to say, we received this week a re-sign on our Brentwood site, the Brentwood School site. So we are actively working on that site. We have a couple others that maybe publicly we cannot announce right now. But staff has been extremely diligent in pushing to look at options and creatively think outside of the box. I think we have a number of different things. I think there's been some funding announcements that are private funding at helping a number of different things that we're going to be looking at as well. So we are trying diligently behind the scenes to come up with more sites and to further the mission with, the minimal amount of dollars that we've got, trying to maximize those into serving residents of the community.
And you did say Brentwood.
We did. We received that actually yesterday.
Good. That's great news. Yes, definitely needed. So, no other questions? All right. So we will take this up for a vote.
I would like to make a motion to accept the consideration for the conditional commitment for flats at Old Winston and authorize the appropriate city officials to execute all necessary documents.
I'd like to second.
It's been properly moved and second. Now we'll take the vote. All signs of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. That moves forward to the full council. Thank you so very much. And again, thank you, Mr. Stone. The next, we will have 2024-179. It's an update, the Community Development and Affordable Housing Update. And I do see Ms. Nina at the podium. So,
Thank you. We wanted to give you an update on some of the things that are happening in community development. And one of the things that I did want everyone to have an opportunity to do is to see and meet some of the great partners that we work with through our program. You got to hear from Craig. You will certainly get to hear now from some of our other partners that we either have existing relationships working with them in one capacity or another, and then new relationships that we are developing and partnerships that are growing and blossoming when it comes to affordable housing. So we're certainly appreciative and glad to be able to bring that kind of information in these presentations items to you. The first thing I will mention is the 2024 Annual Action Plan. When I presented the draft to you all before, one of the things that I had said is that we had not received our annual allocations at that point. Those allocations came out today. And unfortunately, it's not great news. We did receive cuts in both of our CDBG and home funding allocations. For CDBG, we will be receiving $799,042, which is $18,657 less than we received last year. And then for home, we'll be receiving $429,477, which is $112,056 less than we received last year. So what I'm going to be doing is going back over our budget, looking at our programs, seeing how we can best accommodate the reductions and just see where we can modify programs and what we'll need to do. It is, as I kind of mentioned before, I think the one thing that really affected these allocations was the reduction in our poverty rate, which, as I've always said, it's great for our community. We certainly want to see our economy grow and move in a positive direction. However, it does have consequences on the backside when poverty rate and things like that are considered in these formula allocations. So that's why we're receiving these cuts. But I will be bringing that back at the next Community Development Committee meeting for the final plan, and I'll be presenting that to you all so that we can get that submitted to HUD.
Great, excellent.
Okay? Okay, so on to some good stuff.
Any,
I'm sorry, did you have any questions about that?
oh, no, I thought I heard you.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay. We have here today, we have 4 organizations that we have designated Community Housing Development Organizations, or CHODOs. And we have Habitat for Humanity of High Point, Trinity, and Archdale. We have Ms. Susan Wood. She is going to be joining us virtually. And then we have Mr. Charles Blackman with Black Lamb Development Corporation, Mr. Michael Praler with Empowerment Headquarters, and Mr. Gene Brown with Community Housing Solutions of Guilford. And I have actually sort of left Gene for last because he's going to talk about Operation Inasmuch as well, the last event that we just had in the Burns Hill community. So I will get things started off with Ms. Wood. I'm not sure where our IT folks are because I don't know how to bring her into the meeting. Okay, here we go. Good deal. Thank you. Hi, Susan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I first of all want to thank the Community Development Office and City Council for all they do for our low-income families in this community. It's really important when I talk about community that it involves everybody that is a High Point citizen, so we love that. I have given a map to Nina, which is a very colorful map, but it's kind of how I let our board know where we're going and where we want to go, and it's a good visual. But as you can see, we started on the south side a little over a year ago, and we have completed 2 homes there, and we have 4 currently under construction. What's important to know about our homes and Habitat is that we are not only the builder of quality low-income homes, but we are also affordable homes. We are also the financer. So Habitat not only builds the home, but then we provide the families with a 30-year no-interest mortgage, which means that our families' monthly mortgage payment is around $350 a month for 30 years. We charge our families how much it costs us to build the house, which right now is about $125,000, thanks to some help from the city donating lots and other things along that line. We also put a silent second mortgage on the house that goes to the appraised value. Our last house that we completed was appraised at $210,000. We sold it to the family for $125,000 with an $85,000 second mortgage, which we will forgive over the life of the first mortgage. That way the family gains that equity slowly. But what it means is that when we close a house, we don't get $210,000 cash in our pocket to go do the next house. That's why the partnership with the city is so important to us, because it allows us to plan and keep building and keep providing that service to our low-income families that we offer them the mortgage. So we hit families usually at 50% of the area AMI or lower. And so let me tell you a little bit about our plans. As you can see, this map focuses on the south side. And what's so exciting about the south side is that it's not just one nonprofit doing this work. It's going to be a group of nonprofits with all different kinds of models so that it brings a lot of diversity economically into the neighborhood. And, not one nonprofit can solve our housing issues on their own. We really need a partnership. But we have the 2 houses closed on the south side. We are looking to close 803 before the end of June. We're really excited about that. We're now planning on working on the 800 Vale and the 707, 705 Tryon throughout the summer. Or if you see the 2 lots in yellow, those were 2 lots that Habitat was able to purchase from the owner this spring. And we will start those in August. Starting means a hole in the ground and a foundation. And then we see where that goes with our volunteer crews. We were really excited to be able to buy those lots because it's really, at times, it's easier for us if we have a little extra money to buy these lots. And then that frees up the city to allocate their money to other resources. But these were 2 vacant lots that sat there. And to tell you the truth, I called him up and made an offer and he took it. And it's our process, which much quicker than the process and the expense that the city would have to go through. And he was happy and got a fair deal for his land. And we got 2 flat lots to build on. So we're real excited about that. So we plan on breaking ground for those August, September. And then if you'll look, there's 2 solid reds, which is 813 Tryon and 808. And those we're hoping to break ground in November, December, so that we actually have building properties ready for next February, March, and April when we get all the rain. So that's our plan for the next year on the south side. There's some red and blue striped lots that I have asked Mina for, and I'm sure a lot of the other groups in the room would be interested in those, but those need some money allocated towards them for grading, I've been told. So those lots, I do not think are committed, but Habitat would be interested in that for our 2025, 2026 building program. So that's where we are right now. I want to talk about building communities for just a second, because I want to add that we have one homeowner that has already jumped into the neighborhood association with both feet and excuse me, is doing some work trying to get the crime down in that neighborhood. And as part of our program, we ask families to do sweat equity. And part of that sweat equity is now we're going to require them to attend their neighborhood association meeting, because we are not only about building wonderful, affordable homes, but we're also about building communities. And this is how the neighborhood grows. And so we're really excited to that commitment to the South Side. Does anybody have any questions?
No questions.
Thank you so much for your time and for your Zoom consideration.
Thank you, Susan. Definitely appreciate you.
Good afternoon, Chair Johnson, committee members. I'm Charles Blackman, Executive Director of Black Lamb Development Corporation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. And we also have the Community Housing Development Organization, CHODO designation, if you will, in the city of Greensboro, and now working on perfecting it in the city of High Point. We certainly look forward to doing some big things over here and adding to your workforce affordable housing inventory. I'm joined today by our construction arms, our construction side C2 contractors. Richard Fuqua is the Director of Real Estate and Community Development. Thank you for joining me today, Richard. If you have any questions about the specifics of our construction process, Richard can handle those. Our focus, from what I understand, will be on the south side community here in High Point. We've got some house plans that I think will fit nicely on some of those lots that are available. I wanted to also say that we have worked with Guilford County, received funding from Guilford County, United Way of Greater Greensboro, and the Community Foundation of Greater Greensboro. We're also doing houses in Durham and have formed a partnership in Durham where we're building 2 single-family homes in that area as well. Wanted to also inform you that we're working with Housing Consultants Group. Sophia Crisp does our pre-qualification for our first-time home buyers, as well as our credit counseling for our home buyers. Just by way of background, Black Lamb was started in April of 2019. We're based in Greensboro, but with a mission and focus to, again, add to the affordable housing inventory all over Guilford County, as well as the state of North Carolina. So again, we're looking forward to doing some great things, looking forward with the partnership with the city of High Point. I'm certainly open to any questions that you might have at this time.
Great. And Mr. Blackman, you said, what was the name of it? Black Land?
That's a great question. So Black Lamb, L-A-M-B.
Okay.
And that's a play on words. Black Lamb was started as the brainchild of one of our colleagues, C.C. Lamberth, and myself, Charles Blackman. So Black Lamb.
Black Lamb, I got it now. Okay. Want to make sure I had that down right. Great. Any questions or comments?
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Blackman, and Mr. Richard for coming. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Good afternoon, Council and Chairperson Johnson. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present for Empowerment Headquarters as a CHODO organization in High Point. My name is Michael Praler. I'm the CEO and president of Praler Construction Company. We're a licensed general contractor in North Carolina and Texas, where I grew up, second-generation contractor. I'm also the executive director of Empowerment Headquarters. It's a nonprofit arm for where we actually do a lot of remodeling, new construction, and workforce development training program with the nonprofit organization. As we have a major housing need within our state and just abroad, we're thankful that we have the opportunity to become a CHODO within your city. Currently, we probably have on our umbrella some 300 plus remodeling units that we've completed. I'm also working with Les Piedmont Triad Regional Council, where I'm doing a work program with them where we're doing stay at home for the elderly. We actually are repairing homes that they can remain in their homes as they age in place. Currently, we've got right now about 10 new construction projects under construction right now at various stages. Also in Greensboro, we're working with the city of Greensboro with a 16-acre tract of land to develop some 300-plus housing units there to meet that housing demand as well. I myself has been in the business, like I say, pretty much all my life doing construction, but my passion is really trying to meet the needs of those who have the greatest need within our community. And thank you all for the opportunity to present, the opportunity to be a CHOTA within High Point, also along with working with Nita and your staff as well.
Great. Questions, comments?
Any questions?
Now, you said you have about 10
Yes.
currently now that you're working on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did I hear the number correct, 300?
You know, those are remodeling units.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing this for over 25 years, so we've done a lot of rehab projects.
Okay, perfect, great. Well, thank you for being here today. Definitely appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
See if it comes up. Okay. Oh, it did, good. So, okay. Well, good afternoon. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for speaking at our 20th anniversary as well. I'm real excited to be here, so if I get excited, there's a couple of things. Number one, 2 weeks ago, we had a great Operation Inasmuch in the Burns Hill neighborhood, and I'll share a little bit that later. But also, this year is the 20th anniversary of Community Housing Solutions. If you're not familiar with our organization, we're a nonprofit. I think I put a slide. Let me see if I can put it, here we go. There we go. We're a nonprofit organization that's also a licensed general contractor. And we did our first home repair on Valentine's Day. We started it on Valentine's Day in 2004. So we're celebrating 20 years this year of doing home repairs in the community. But we're also celebrating 10 years in High Point. You may not know this story, but we were getting a lot of calls from folks in High Point and gathered that. And then you may remember there was a nursing home called the Evergreen Nursing Home that when they closed their door, they created a foundation. And they wanted to give funds for residents of Guilford County and for older adults, which 75% of the people we serve with our home repair program are older adults or disabled homeowners. And we told them about our desire to expand into High Point. We told them about a program we have for older adults called Aging Gracefully, and they invested $600,000 over 3 years to launch this 10 years ago. And so we're real excited to celebrate being in High Point. And then also this is, I think it's year 8 or so of Operation Inasmuch. And so the neighborhoods that we've been able to impact with your support. So very thankful for your support of our organization, not only in home repairs, but also what I'll talk about in the Cedro development and what we've been doing there the last few years. But this one slide just gives you a little bit about our 2 programs. One, we have a home repair program, and then we also have a home buyer program, which is where in High Point we've done work in Southside initially, and then also in Cedro, and I'll share about some plans to go back into High Point, or into Southside. So the Cedro neighborhood, talk about overcoming a lot of challenges and obstacles. It's a 2.5 acre plot of land that probably about maybe 5 years ago or 4 years ago, we started talking about it. Challenges with getting some of the road infrastructure on what connected Kingsway Drive and Rolling Green Drive. But also, I don't know if you know this or not, but we were not able to get, when we started dividing up the lots, and I was going and applying for financing and so we could start building on the lots, we were not able to get the homes transferred to us because of the way, there was some legal way, the ownership of the prior owner of the property before the city took ownership. And it took a year for a local attorney in town to get in touch with the owners. Remember that, Nina? And so we had a lot of starts and stops initially. Then we started building the houses. The average build cost was around $155,000 to $160,000, or excuse me, it was about $175,000, and we were selling homes for around $140,000 to $150,000. And something called COVID hit. And I was just reading something today, construction costs since COVID have gone up 30%. And so We were selling homes originally at $140,000 to $150,000. We're under contract with homes at $200,000 and $205,000. And our build costs are north of 200 as well. So lots of challenges, but I have some really good pictures to share. A picture is worth 1,000 words. The other neat thing, there was a wet drainage area that they changed, I'm not sure if I'm using the right term, a biosphere? Or biocell. And so not only did we build 19 homes, or 19 homes soon to be complete in the next 3 months, but we also integrated, and this was the City of High Point and Community Development Department, making that into a biocell in the middle. So it's not buildable property, but it was a natural way to have the water run as the pre-development things were done. So let me show you a picture. So this was the very first sign you can see on the left and right-hand side of the thing. This was a sign I took a picture of probably about 5 years ago, where you can see the equipment on either side of the sign. They were building the infrastructure with the roads in the background. This is a picture that I took many years ago. I'm thankful. I have to apologize. The before and afters are not the same angle because it wouldn't have given me, I didn't have enough space with what I've done. But this is along Cedro Drive. So there's a total of 7 lots, so 7 homes now are on Cedro Drive. So this is a before picture, and then standing at the church right across the road and looking at this, there's 7 homes. I couldn't get it in my camera on my phone, so I used panoramic. But you'll notice the far left, there's 2 that we're waiting to finish. There's 3 homes we're finishing up, so the far left are 2 that are in construction. But the next 2 are under contract. Or excuse me, the next one is under contract and the other 4 are sold. We actually started on Cedro on the far right and built the first 4 homes. So these are 7 homes on Cedro Drive. And then I went up, this was 5 years ago, I went up on the top of an embankment and took a picture. You can kind of see in the middle where Rolling Green Drive, or excuse me, Kingsway ends. And you can see on the right hand kind of a brownish area, which was kind of where water was residing, and that now is the biocell. But a road was built, and I couldn't take it from behind the houses now, so I had to take it from the other end of the street. But look at Kingsway Drive and Rolling Green. So this is 12 more homes that are completed or under construction. You have the one on the right that is one of the 3 that are last 3 to be built. And then all of those are now occupied with new homeowners, except for the left 2. Those are under contract and should be closing within the next 30 days. So we have gone in this period of time to filling that 2.5-acre plot with 19 first-time home buyers, or will be filling them with 19 first-time homeowners. Not only, though, do we build nice houses. We use Tightline Designs out of Raleigh, which designs floor plans. Typically, our minimum floor plan is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. We have one model that's a 4-bedroom as well. Some are 1-story, some are 2-story homes. But one of the things, the last thing we want to do is put somebody in a house and their utility costs are through the roof. And the tears and the smiles that I get from homeowners when I go to the closings, because we partner with Advanced Energy and their Systems Vision program. So Ms. Rahila Afwadi, you're going to hear in just a minute. I have a short video of her interview last fall. Her heating and cooling costs are guaranteed for the first 2 years at $36.87. And when you come out of a situation where you're renting, and I've heard of homeowners paying $200, $300, $400 a month, they are high-fiving in tears, just so thankful to own a house, but also have a house that's energy efficient for years to come. Let's see if this works. So this woman, Rahila Afwadi, and I just met her husband last week. She wasn't married at first, but she has 2 kids and is married now. But I'm going to do, if I can do the interview, I think. This is about a 2 or 3 minute interview that we did of her and what it meant to own a home.
Originally, so say because of war, we discussed with my family, and I ran to Kenya, and they went somewhere else. Then when I end up refugee in Kenya, that's when they bring me here as a refugee. The reason I want to buy my own house, I think, is safe and is comfortable and it's your own house. My favorite thing about this house is big. I feel the house is big. We have enough room. I could not dream about brand new house. It's nice. I just like the way they built this house because the kids have their own rooms. The boys, they have a big room. My daughter have her own place. Nobody share a room with me. Nobody share my closet with me. And we have 2 bathrooms. Payment I can pay in electricity in the other house is $300. But this is my first time in a long time to see about $200. Is really much better, and they told me it's gonna go down. I really like everything about house. And they don't have to walk very far to wait for the bus. The bus just takes them from the door. And the most thing we love neighborhood. Sometimes we can walk to this church and run around the church and play. And it's quiet here, no noise. It's really quiet. It was through the housing that I did some training about how to save the money, how to plan to buy a house. All that give me idea to think about buying house. I would not think about house without that training that I go through because I thought it was something really big for rich people, for at least 2 families, but somebody like me alone with little kids, they can help me. I did not think that I can do this. But when I go through that training with housing, I really opened my eyes like, oh, I can do this by help of housing and all that benefit that I can get for down payment. And there you go. Now I'm in my own house, as they say, I bought a house. Since I bought the house, I give myself value. Like, oh, now you're just strong like any other people that they can buy a house. You are alone with small kids, but you're strong enough, Rahila, to buy a house, you know. I'm so proud of myself that I didn't listen to the wrong advices. And now, here I go, I'm in my house. We're just comfortable to live here. We feel home since we moved here. We feel like now we're living.
The work, and it kind of just blows me away every time we do a closing or we finish a home repair, the hope that we give folks. I mean, we're about rebuilding homes or building homes, but there's so many homeowners that don't think they could ever own a home. And this many times is their greatest asset. I do want to give a plug, and I think Charles and Richard referenced Sophia Chris. We also use Sophia Chris for our home buyer education. So the program that she was talking about was through Housing Consultants Group, that they go in and counsel with them to make sure they've got their credit scores in line and they understand how a mortgage works and how to maintain a house and all of that kind of thing. So she provides the home buyer education and then operates as our realtor in the community for folks that buy our home. And then the other thing she mentioned about a $300 or $200 electric bill, the $33 or the $34 is their heating and cooling costs. There's a way Advanced Energy figures that. So your bill may still be $150 or that area. But I did find out why her bill was so high. I was looking at 1511 Kingsway Drive because we're getting ready to close on it. And she yells across the street, Gene, can you come here? And I walk over there, and what I found out is many times the folks aren't familiar with some of the thermostats and how to set it properly and that kind of thing. They had put it, instead of putting it on auto, they put it on, and their fan was running continuously. Even if it wasn't running air conditioner heat, it's still running, and so you've got power. So it was interesting. By us being in the community with that makes a big difference. And the general contractor that we use, so Jim Sanop started the work, the first 4 homes on Cedro Drive he did, and then he retired and there was a pause until I could find someone to replace him. We contract with Brandon Hawks He is out of Archdale, and so he's our general contractor that has been overseeing the finishing of these projects in Cedro. But it's just really exciting, having seen all that land and then what we've overcome and where it is now. Just real excited about the homeowners located there. And then just real quickly, we had started in Southside originally. We built homes on Vale Avenue and we built homes on George Place. And we actually have 3 lots that were quitclaim deed a couple of years ago. But Mike McNair said a number of years before Nina came and said, let's pause Southside. We really want to jump on Cedro. So right now I'm in the middle of working with Brandon on some development budgets for these lots that are on various places in the Southside home. And as Susan had mentioned, it's neat to see the Habitat trucks and our vehicles in there and that kind of thing in the Southside neighborhood. And just put a little caveat, as we're looking at the costs, some of the lots that we're trying to navigate have some slope issues and different things like that that may entail some slightly additional build costs with foundations, remediation, or other things that we might have to do, like tree removal. But I'll pause for a quick second before I do operation inasmuch. Any questions about any of the new construction or home buyer programs that we're doing?
No, sir.
Okay. So I wanted to share Burns Hill neighborhood, and I was reminded as I was driving in today, I got delayed a little bit because I don't know what happened, but somewhere in Burns Hill there were more fire trucks and policemen that we had to stop. And but anyways, Burns Hill is a neighborhood. This is the 3rd time that we've been in that community, and Jerry Mingo has served on our board as a community representative in the past as well, and it's a neighborhood that really has a lot of need. I call it distressed housing and just a lot of things going on. But we had a wonderful day last weekend or 2 weekends ago. We actually had Pinnacle Bank out. They brought 31 employees out on Thursday, the 25th. We had Bank of America out on the 26th, and then we had 6 repairs going on Saturday, the 27th. We had so many homes. We have a faith group coming out in 2 weeks that'll be working on another house in that neighborhood. And then our staff is working on some things that are not volunteer-friendly tasks. But we had 109 volunteers and about 654 volunteer hours. And I've actually got a handout that I'll pass out at the end that we had a total of 10 homes that were repaired, investing about $80,000. We did the 5 Points neighborhood last fall in our contract that we have with the city of High Point. We did about $120,000 worth of work last fall in the 5 Point neighborhood. And so in balancing that contract, that's where we had the $80,000 that we did here in the Burns Hill neighborhood. But I wanted to read, I'll pass out this flyer, but I just got a card earlier this week. We've worked with a Lily, we've worked with a Daisy. Most of them were elderly homeowners. But Lily, who is the homeowner, Lily Mae Jones, who lives on Winley Avenue, which is where I happen to be working with the City of High Point volunteers, and also some AmeriCorps Vistas, Michelle? Yeah, which thankfully there was one guy that had the muscles to really get into some stuff we had to deal with. But she sent me this card, this thank you card, and she said, I would like to thank Jean Brown, Lisa Davis on our staff does client services, and the volunteers, which are City of High Point volunteers, that took the time to come out and did my deck and flower beds. I really appreciate for a great job you all done. Thanks. God bless you all, Lily, for your loving heart and your helping hands. So this kind of made my day earlier this week. So very appreciative of the support. Between the funding the City of High Point does and also other funding that we get, like the Foundation for a Healthy High Point has given us funding for our repairs, the High Point Community Foundation, we invest, our overall budget is about $1.2 million, and we invest somewhere between $300,000 to $400,000 in home repairs for low-income families that own their homes in High Point, and that doesn't include the urgent repair funding that the City of High Point receives and they do directly. So we're really happy to be part of this and work in the core city. Any questions? from you?
I do. This is Councilwoman McKeever. You say y'all did some houses in Five Point area? Okay, where at Five Points? Is it like what street or?
Let me get my Burns Hill streets out of my mind. Woodruff, we did a lot on Woodruff,
Yeah.
Woodruff Avenue, Dallas Avenue,
Yes,
Beaumont.
yeah.
There's one or two others, but yeah, we probably did about 12 to 15 homes. A lot of folks, and it's interesting, we do a lot of door-to-door. Sophia Crisp helps us with that. If someone were to knock on your door and say, does your home need repairs and it won't cost you anything, would you probably close the door? But, so it's interesting. So we had 12 to 15 that were like, yes, I need help me out. But we had some that were reluctant, like probably I would be. Then they saw our trucks come into town, and they saw the volunteers, and they saw the work. It's amazing how many people have called us and said, well, we can still do your repairs. It won't be through a city-funded operation in as much, but that we can work in that neighborhood. So just the awareness getting out into that neighborhood has helped, really all from South Side to Burns Hill, Washington Street neighborhood. But yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Awesome.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'll just pass. These are the flyers that I referenced with some more pictures. Yeah. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, sir. Definitely appreciate you.
And just to kind of wrap up, we certainly appreciate having all of these great partners here today. Like I said, I really wanted to just introduce our new partners to you and for you to get to see what we've been doing and what is happening in the neighborhoods when we talk about housing repairs and affordable housing. Southside neighborhood has been an area that we have focused on, probably it's been the last 10 years or so. And just to kind of give you a quick, just a quick recap, we've done about there are 19 units that have actually been completed in Southside that have been completed and sold. We have some units that are underway, as they've kind of mentioned, at various stages of construction. And we will be looking at our new CHOTOs actually beginning to work in that Southside community as well. Right now, we have 24 lots that are city-owned, that are buildable lots that could be available. Some we have promised to our existing CHOTOs, but we do have other lots that are available. So between these four organizations, we will continue to build and develop in the Southside neighborhood. And we still have quite a bit of work to do. That will that may include also, we say single family, but multifamily, but it could be something along the lines of townhomes, something like that. So it won't just be the individual single family homes. We do have one lot that we are looking at actually doing some type of multifamily housing. Any other questions for us or anyone as far as the updates? Yes, ma'am.
How do people go about finding out about what you all do for affordable housing? Do y'all like advertise or do y'all do media? Because I know some people that have very low income and would like to have a house, but they don't know who to turn to, who to talk to, and hearing all this and seeing those houses on that tour and how nice our houses are. And I was talking to some of them, and they go, "Well, how can I get in on it? What can I do, to get a house?" So how do y'all get the word out about it?
In all honesty, a lot of it is word of mouth. It's word of mouth, people riding by, as Jean sort of mentioned, they see trucks rolling in and things like that. We don't do a lot of advertising per se, but because the properties, the new construction anyway, because that is listed through a broker on the MLS, that is a way that folks that might be working with realtors, that they find out about the properties that are available. But we certainly, if we see the need to improve upon our marketing and get the word out, we certainly will work with our communications department and see what we can do to maybe expand on what we're currently doing. But I'll be quite honest, when it comes to affordable housing that's being built, multifamily or even the single family, the lists are long. They really don't have any problem getting, folks that are interested or that want to apply for the housing.
Okay.
I would add, this is Greg Ferguson, Deputy City Manager. One of the best things to do is just refer them to the Community Development Office. Let them call, talk with staff, explain where they're at in their housing fund or opportunity. Because that education piece up front on how to purchase a home, a mortgage, sometimes that's a really important piece. Also, the down payment assistance may come into play. So the earlier they learn about that, they get it with the right realtor, someone who's knowledgeable about the programs here in High Point, then that's beneficial to them as well.
Okay. Okay.
I would say besides customer service, we probably get the most walk-ins. We have the most foot traffic, and a lot of it is just inquiring as to the home buying process or home repairs. So, thank you, Greg. I appreciate you pointing that out.
Okay, I just want to say that I'm very impressed, the work that you all are doing, and I think it's great. And so it's just amazing to see people. I love the interview with the lady, being excited about having her own home. And I know it means a lot. So I just want to say thank you for the hard work you all been doing.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate you all support and everything that you all do to help encourage us, supplement our budget, and all of those good things. So we certainly do appreciate it as well.
Great. Thank you again. What's the saying? It takes a village, and our partners, it takes a village to get this done. So again, thank all of our partners, our current partners, our new partners, our partners that's going to be coming in the future. Again, thank you so very, very much. Definitely appreciate it. So we'll move on to the next. Is that right?
We're ready.
All right. 2024-180. It's an update on our local code strategy plan.
Yes, I don't think Kaylee Parrish has had an opportunity to actually present before to you all, but she is our interim code enforcement manager since Lori Loosemore has retired. And one of the things that we wanted to sort of talk about today, not just the local codes update, but we know that homeless encampments have become a big issue. And so that's something that I wanted her to certainly talk to you all about today as well. Let's see if I can get this pulled up.
And state her name again, please.
Kaylee Parrish, Parrish.
Great, thank you.
Good afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well today. So I'll be delivering the strategic plan update for April of 2024. Right here is a slide of how many cases we've had. So in the month of April, we've had 17 minimum housing complaints. 15 of them were complaints that came in through citizens, and 2 of them were inspector-initiated complaints. We had 52 zoning cases, and 30 of those were complaints, whether that came from citizen complaints or other departments that complained as well. 22 were inspector-initiated, and then for public nuisance, we had 246 public nuisance cases. 113 of those were citizen complaints, and 133 of those were inspector-initiated.
Pardon me. If I may, as the council manager, could you quickly explain succinctly minimum housing, zoning, and public nuisance as an idea of what we're looking at?
Yeah, so minimum housing is if someone has a complaint, they're renting a property, and let's say their AC unit goes out and they're not able to get the landlord to come in and fix it, or a lot of times we work with a lot of property management companies. So what will happen is an inspector will set up a day and a time to go out and meet with the tenant, and upon going into the home, we have an ordinance called the minimum housing ordinance. So we will go in there and inspect the property and potentially find other violations other than the AC unit being broken. And then from there, we do notify the property owner. We have a hearing, we sit down and discuss those violations, and then we will issue what is called a order. So it could be an order to repair, an order to repair or vacate, and then from there, the owner has 30 days to get those violations corrected. As far as a public nuisance case, that could be a multitude of things, including dense grass that is over 12 inches tall. It could be trash. It could be furniture just on the side of the road that hasn't been picked up. And most of the time with those situations, it's because household trash is intermixed in the furniture. And zoning cases with that, it could be vehicles parked in the front yard. It could be fences being without permits. And typically it is surrounding a vehicle when it comes to a zoning case. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So as Nina said, our local code's homeless encampment process, that's something that we have recently started, and we're learning as we go, of course, but this is the sign that gets posted at the front of the property, and with this sign, it states our public nuisance ordinances, and then the QR code in the top right corner, they're actually able to scan that and get information from 211. And 211 is a referral service by the United Way. And what that helps with is offering information on the health and services systems within the community. So the enforcement process is typically local codes will receive complaints a couple of different ways, including citizen complaints about the issue, the inspector actively sees it, or other departments as far as the fire department, the police department, anything along those lines. And once a complaint is received, the inspector will actually go out to the property, take a look, kind of see what's going on, document and take pictures. Now, if someone is actively living in that homeless encampment, the inspector will speak with the individuals and let them know that we do have resources in place if they would like to have those resources. Once the property is posted, the property owner will receive a notice of violation letting them know that there is some issues they need to address as far as the public nuisance in the homeless encampment. And then from there, the property owner has 2 weeks to bring the property in violation. So bringing the property into compliance is removing the homeless encampment and trash and anything along those lines that came from the homeless encampment. Now, if we do go out and the property owner is making progress, we will work with them as they go throughout the process. If the property owner has not contacted us, or it could be an estate sometimes, we've been dealing with that a little bit as well. What will happen is the city will actually move forward with cleaning the property and placing a lien on the property taxes. So we've had 8 total cases since January of 2024. As you will see, the map that is on the right, just pinpointing kind of where the homeless encampments are within the city of High Point. So 4 have been owner corrected, 2 the city have corrected, and 2 are property owners who are actively working on resolving the issues. And this is one that the city actually had corrected, 321 4th Street. The individual there, Michelle's team, actually went out and spoke with him, and we've offered him some resources to help him with this issue. As you can see here, these are before pictures, and this is kind of everything that was back behind that fence and in that makeshift shelter as well. And this is after the city has cleaned the property. Does anyone have any questions?
No questions, great.
No, thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
I don't really have anything to add other than we wanted to, when we started this process, even though it has been going on for quite some time, and a lot of times people will say, just go in and clear it. But we wanted to make sure that we were working or trying to work with the individuals that were in the encampments to give them resources. And we have been able to partner with some of our homeless service providers and housing providers just to make that connection, because we just didn't want to clear everything out, get rid of individuals' personal property. Sometimes this is all that they own in the world. So we wanted to, as I say, have a make a soft approach or just have a soft approach to how we actually would go in and clear the encampments. And so far, I think things are working really well. Public Services, they have been wonderful to work with us on clearing some of these lots. And so it's just been a good partnership with a lot of local agencies as well as our staff.
So, question for you, and great job, Ms. Parrish, on presenting that. So, is there ever a time where, because I know a particular property that last year, the year before, the city had to go in and had to tear the house down, and now grass is constantly, it was doing that before, and there's a sign there now. And so I believe we're constantly going out there having to cut the grass. And I'm thankful because, you know, things get in yards and things have a tendency to go up in other yards. So, and it's just not a good look for a neighborhood. So when do, and I ask this question because that's land that, and because I always think about the homeless, right? And that's property that's right there that could be used to build a house. When do we, or do we ever get to that point? Because I know we're constantly putting a lien on the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
When do we get to that point to say, enough is enough?
If it's private property, if it's owned by a private property owner, I don't know that we actually get to the point that we say, okay, enough is enough. Now, there's tax foreclosure that we go through that process, but to my knowledge, I don't know that we've actually foreclosed on any of the liens. So it's just primarily been tax foreclosures. However, if it's in an area that we are looking to revitalize, then that is certainly something that we could do, is reach out to that individual property owner and see if they might be willing to sell the property. But typically, once in a case of a demo, if the property owner does not maintain it, then we continue to abate that public nuisance, and we do continue to place the liens on the property.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
Sorry.
I just want to say before you go, I appreciate your statement about using a soft approach, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and issues like hoarding and oftentimes homelessness can develop from mental health issues that people are experiencing from trauma or from untreated mental health illnesses and concerns. So I just want to make sure that we're not just talking about a public nuisance to our eyes, that often, you know, we don't see the underlying issues that people are experiencing who are living in those conditions. And I just want to make sure that we recognize that in this discussion, because I know that it can be very easy to place judgments or place the concerns on ourselves, and to not think about people who might be in serious need of understanding and help. So thank you for saying that. And I do appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
Great. We'll move on to 2024-181. And this is just an update on the 2024 Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program.
Okay, we're going to have Pamela Ingram, who is on our staff, give you the final numbers since the tax season ended April 15th, or around or about April 15th. I don't remember the exact date, but around or about April 15th. She's going to give you some of the final numbers.
Good afternoon, Chair Johnson, members of the committee. My name is Pamela Ingram, and I just thank you for your time to be able to discuss VITA this afternoon. We had a wonderful season, and I think a lot about this program, so I appreciate your support. This year was a really good year for VITA and the citizens of High Point, and so we want to definitely tell you why. So VITAL provides free basic tax returns to households with low to moderate income, $60,000 or less this year. And the city of High Point has hosted VITAL for 18 years, which is awesome, with partnerships with other host sites, which include the Arc of High Point, YWCA of High Point, Macedonia Resource Center, West End Ministries, High Point Public Library, GTCC Jamestown, and Community and Neighborhood Development Center. The IRS makes sure we use a good VITAL model that outlines how we coordinate and manage the program. We operated on an $11,500 budget this year, and the site flow, which you can see here, includes a greeter managing the intake process, which is important. Intake interviewer to ensure correct information is being used for the return, and a tax preparer to complete the returns, and a quality reviewer for a second look at all the returns. So as you can see with our results this year, we had about 40 volunteers. And again, our volunteers are greeters, schedulers, and tax preparers, and site supervisors. Again, very proud of all of our volunteers. As you can see, our volunteer hours here, 1,514. Our total tax preparation hours was 1,186. Hours of operation, 306. And federal and state tax returns, 1,434. Our total federal refunds issued was 719,919. So really, really good tax season results. Really proud of, again, of the service that we were able to provide. So the biggest benefit, of course, is that this is, as I stated before, it's a free service, but this is actually some of our cost benefits. On average, the cost of a tax return is $250. And so the benefit for this year being $358,500, that's a lot. So we're really proud of that. So our return on investment, again, $719,919 in federal funds, $60,000 for state funds, and total return on investment is over $1 million. So again, just very proud of the program and the services that we're able to provide to the community. So you can see here some of our volunteers in action at some of our host sites. Hopefully you can see the pictures there. Again, we have some awesome volunteers here. We have GTCC Jamestown and Macedonia listed here in the library and community development there. Some of the partners that are not pictured, but I wanted to note that we did have an opportunity to have partnerships with High Point University. We also had partnerships with Family Services of the Piedmont, and we also had partnership with Gifford County Board of Elections. So again, we're every year thinking about how we can meet the needs of our community, and that takes all of us in building collaborative efforts and partnerships. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
I have a quick one. Just curious, what software are you using, and are we encouraging our folks to use the retirement savings contribution credit?
So we are trained by the IRS, and so we use a software that they train us to use, and that's currently TaxSlayer. And yes, we do, at every point, we do try to educate all of our taxpayers.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Great. We definitely appreciate your 306 hours, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. So we definitely appreciate you. And again, thank you, Ms. Ingram, for giving us an update.
Thank you.
Great. If we don't have any announcements or anything before we go? Announcements? All right. We're now adjourned.